This is lesson 4.3, solving word problems. We are going to go over the warm-ups, so go ahead and pause the video, and then once you're done with the warm-ups, go ahead and restart it. To my 7th hour class who's watching this today, if you are disrespectful or rude to the sub, you will not like the consequences when I get back on Monday. You need to be respectful at all times. Okay, also 7th hour, 1 and 2 we haven't gone over yet. Just watch, kind of see what I'm doing. We'll go over it on Monday, but 3 you can do. All right, the first problem is a simple interest problem. We know it's a simple interest problem because it says simple interest. Now, the formula for simple interest, the formula, is I equals PRT. P is the principal, R is the rate, T is the time. So your interest equals, your principal is the money you have in the bank, so that's 400, times the rate is 5.7%. Do not forget the percent. The time is 3 years. All right. When I multiply all that together, class, what do I get?
68.40.
68 what?
44.
68.40. That's $68.40. So, if you have $400 in the bank for 3 years and your interest rate is 5.7%, you'll make $68.40. This one is compound interest. How do I know it's compound interest? Your bank compounds interest. So, compound interest says compound interest. Simple interest says simple interest. The formula for compound interest is A equals P times 1 plus R over N, all raised to the N times T power. P is your principal. That's how much money you have in the bank. That's $600. R is your rate. That's your interest rate. That is 4%. Do not forget the percent. N is the confusing one. N is how many times your interest is compounded. Well, right after it says compounds interest, it's going to tell you how many times it's compounded annually. Does everybody get that? This is where you guys mess up. You don't understand that after the words compound interest, it's going to tell you how many times a year it's compounded. Annually is once a year. It may tell you things like semi-annually. The semi-annual white sale means twice a year. Semi means twice. Could say monthly, that's 12. It could say weekly, that's 52, kids. There's 52 weeks in a year. T is time in years. T is your years, that's 4. Okay, so now we just plug this in. A equals, my principal is 600 times 1 plus 4%, don't forget your percent, over 1, all raised to the 1 times 4. Now, when I put this into the calculator, I put it in my calculator just like it appears here. 600, parentheses, 1 plus fraction bar, 4, hit your shift key to put your percent on it, arrow down, put a 1 on bottom, arrow over, close the parentheses, hit the X with the white box. 1 times 4 is 4, raise it to the 4th power, hit equals. Your answer is, class, what's my answer? What is it? 701.92. This is money, so you have to carry it 2 decimal places. Okay? Now, you would say, well, wait a minute, it's 91. Well, it's 91.5, so I rounded up to 92. If you put 91, that's okay. But money, you have to bring out 2 decimal places. All right. Then we have number 3. The swim team purchases 200 t-shirts, and they pay $4.50 a shirt. Okay? Then they turn around and sell them for $9.50 a piece. What is your total profit? Okay, I sold them for $9.50. I bought them for $4.50. This is a profit of $5 per shirt. That's my profit. This is what I sold for. This is what I bought for. This is my profit. Now, if I go and multiply $5 a shirt times 200, 200 times 5, what do I get? What do I get, class? $1,000, one person. Very good. $1,000. So they made $1,000. Okay? All right. This question is exactly like what we did yesterday. It is the write an equation problem. It is not solve, it's write an equation. Let's look at our equation. Federal Express charges Lucy $18 to pick up a package. They then charge $1.45 per pound to hip the package. I don't know what hipping a package is. I'm going to assume that should be ship a package. Write an equation that shows the relationship between the total shipping charge, C, total charge C, and the total weight of the package, weight. So, kids, so just like yesterday, I am going to write an equation that has a constant, go ahead and write this down, plus a coefficient, that is the proper way to spell coefficient, and that's going to equal my total. Okay? So now I have 2 numbers and 2 letters. That's what I need. So I'm going to put my plus sign right here. Probably the easiest one is your total. What represents your total? Class, just call it out. What represents your total?
C.
What? C. So I cross that out. That's my total. Now, what number is not going to change? Because that's going to be your constant. 18, right. They come to pick up a package from you, no matter what, it's $18. So that's not going to change. That's your constant. Well, all you have left now is 145 and W. So 145 and W go together. You're done. I can't make this any easier than that. If you get this wrong on the test, I seriously will not know how to help you. I can't make it any easier than that. So now, number 2, you're on your own. Number 3, you're on your own. Those are things that you should know how to do. Let's review number 4. Number 4, remember we're going to have 2 things that go together. Books on shelves. And then one new thing, more shelves. Okay? And we want to know how many more books, how many more books will they be able to add to their bookstore? So these 2 things go together. And then these 2 things go together. Shelves and more books. Shelves and more books. Okay, so I'm going to set up a ratio, a fraction, 34,194. What goes on bottom of my fraction, guys? Shout it out nice and loud. 278 goes on bottom. So I have shelves. I'm sorry, that's wrong. I have books, books. I have books, and I have shelves. It doesn't matter what's on top until you get to the second fraction. Now, what has to go on bottom of my second fraction? Everybody nice and loud. No.
93.
93 has to go on bottom. See, shelves is on bottom, so shelves has to stay on bottom. 93 shelves. What's on top, guys? Books is on top, so books has to stay on top. Do I know how many more books they're going to add?
No.
Nope, that's my X. Okay. You have to have that figured out in your brain. Now, I cross multiply. $278 times X. So then I get, this is the easy one, 278 times X is 278X equals 34,194 times 93 is, it's actually 3,180,042. What's that?
I didn't know you had to have them in there. I thought you would only just, that would be too much.
Okay, so now the biggest thing you have to remember is now you divide both sides by the number next to the X, and the number next to the X has to go on bottom. So the 3,180,042 is going to go on top, divided by 278. It goes into your calculator second, 278, equals, X equals 11,439. So they'll be able to add 11,439 books. That's your answer. This is exactly the same. The last thing we have is the percent. So I'm going to look right here, and I see 26 people said no. 26 people said no. They want to know how many were surveyed. How many students were surveyed? They want to know your total. Now, well, I'm not going to show you. I'll show you it in a minute. All I have to do is 26 said no, so I come over here to no, and I put a fraction bar above my percent. Fraction bar above your percent, and you put the number of no's on top of your fraction. So you get 26 over 20%. Do not forget that percent. So please rewrite it out here. Then you write equals, and I'm going to put that in my calculator. 26 divided by 20. Do not forget your percent. Hit equals. It tells you 130. If you got 1.3, that means you didn't put your percent sign. And that doesn't make any sense, because this is how many people were surveyed. 130 people were surveyed. So let's see, does 1.3 make sense? 1.30, does that make sense? Results of a survey in which students were asked if they brushed their teeth this morning. 26 said no. I did brush my teeth this morning. I do it every Friday. I brush my teeth every Friday. Whether I need to or not, I brush my teeth every Friday. So, if 26 said no, does it make sense that I only asked 1.3 people? Well, yeah, let's just then let's just cut the decimal off. We'll just cut the decimal off because it's people. So basically what you're telling me is, if you said 1.3, you're telling me I asked one person. 26 said no, I asked one person. Hey, I took a survey this morning, and I asked people how many of them remembered to put on shoes. 26 said they forgot their shoes at home, but I only asked one person. Huh? So think about your answer, kids. There's no way that could be your answer. Okay, this one, same thing. You can do it. Here we go. Number 8. I see a percent, so right away I'm going to go blank percent of blank is blank. Okay, if you remember, this obviously is my percent. Of means to multiply. Right here goes my total, and this is my percent of total. Please write this and identify all the blanks. If you need to pause the video, go ahead. Now, what is my percent? 30 is my percent. That's correct. Of, what's my total? 200. Now, I multiply 200 times 30%. Do not forget, or you can go 30% times 200, it doesn't matter. Do not forget your percent sign on the back of the 30. That equals 60. So now I look back up here and I see, what will Mike pay? It's not asking for the discount, it wants to know what he'll pay. So 60 is not your answer. That's how much he's going to save. So if he's going to pay 200, but he saves 60, I subtract. 200 minus 60 is 140. That is your answer, $140. Be careful, because sometimes they're going to ask you, what is the discount? What is the discount is 60. How much did he pay would be 140. Always remember, if they're asking you what is the bill after the tip, you need to add that. All right. That's it for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to come in and see me. Thank you. Have a nice day.